So any more? Yeah. So we listened from Dr. Hafiz just now about the the implementation side. So basically we also want to listen from the community as well. So today we have three community members with us. Yeah. So we at least when we listen from the top, we also can listen from the below or the bottom and see what is actually happening. So we have Adrian Lasimbang. He's from Sabah. He's I let himself to introduce himself because rather than introduce you. Yeah, maybe I pass it on to Adrian. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Gary. I was delighted to be part of this panel this afternoon. Just a brief introduction. My name is Adrian, but I'm much more called by the name of Banie, not Shabani, but Banie. I'm from Sabah. Basically, I represent an organization called Lasimbang, which is a social enterprise based in Penampang, Sabah. So what we do is we basically promote renewable energy and also community empowerment as our major work. I've been doing this for more than 20 years. Currently, what we are doing is like promoting community-based ownership of renewable energy mini-grid systems. So what does it got to do with IT and digital inclusion and all this? Throughout my 20 years of work, working with that time team from Unimas and setting up these micro hydro systems, we found there's a lot of gaps actually in terms of having this. I mean, having technology is very good. Yeah, it's nice to have, but it's not critical if we don't have energy to power this technology. This very much translates to what is being faced by many communities, especially when we have very much the government's KPIs to do all these towers. Yeah, and then a lot of people talking about menara telanjang or the they call it the naked towers. Yeah. But not just that, a lot of the problem I face is every time I go to kampung and they said, tiada line. This is the a lot of this expression, no line. And then I ask why there's no line. Line is like coverage. Habis minyak. Ran out of fuel. So basically, a lot of these remote base stations are still powered by gensets, and you can imagine that having this remote base station placed in a very remote location using diesel genset, this is just one of the biggest trouble. The other thing is like they try to move on to solar power, but still solar and you put it in the highlands doesn't work well. You have to find a certain type of technology. And I think I agree with what Prof. Kev, he has the strategy to link communities in the rural areas should not be based on just one strategy, which is the tower base. There must be some other technologies. And I think there's a lot of issue that needs to be addressed. It's not just infrastructure wise. The other component part is like there's no engagement in communities in terms of how to maintain these systems. I've seen a lot of this project now. Jendela is going everywhere, installing VSATs everywhere. But unfortunately, when there's like small glitch, nobody in the kampung actually knows how to reset at least the router or whatever. So this come to point where community empowerment plays a very important role in making sure that the accessibility is meaningful. So that is why at Lasimbang we have this center called CREATE, Center for Renewable Energy and Appropriate Technologies. We test out different technologies. We also look at what sort of technology that can be translate with the community, make it appropriate. I think that is the word, that is like to humanize the technology. Having alternative learning center like CREATE is actually important to ensure that there is enough opportunity for local champions to be expose and train in order for us to sustain those systems. So we have to make sure that when we are do the strategy, it's not just based on KPI and infrastructure, but we also have to invest a lot on social capital in terms of training and also empowering the communities. The third point that I would like to share here is reliability of data. We know that there's a lot of talk about where are these village, and but a lot of the time when we recently we conducted this study on Sabah rural identification, and we found out that actually there are 400 over village that is unelectrified and it's not even in the government statistics. So these are something that is really have to be and in Sabah is getting more complicated because you find out in the government registry there's only 200. Where does this 200 come from? I said, please don't publish this because we don't want this undocumented people to be recognized. So there is also political things that you have to be made. Those data you cannot take at face value. That's for sure. That's why when you want to do your study, please always like you have to do secondary just to verify those data. And a lot of the government data are so outdated because when you're dealing with communities, especially indigenous communities, they move. So there's still like data like there's village here, but when you go there, there's no village. But there is village out there, but it doesn't exist in the government data. So that is like one of the outcome of the Sabah RE study that we done. Then this is just an indicative how insufficient and how inaccurate our data is. So that's why I think data collection should continue to be our priority. And in order for us to have meaningful penetration and better strategy, this data has to be communicated. And I think a lot of the other organization is working towards developing an apps to make sure that we have real time where is the location of this village and what is their current status of accessibility to electricity and so on. So I think those are the three things that I wish to share and just the experience of we are working in Sabah. And any question about that, we can talk more. Have another day. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. Maybe no question for the now being, because we can question later on.